Coral reefs are some of the most fascinating, dynamic, and diverse ecosystems on the planet. And anyone who's had a chance to experience these places in real life understands how truly remarkable and precious these ecosystems are. Now, despite their brilliance and vibrance, coral reefs face a number of compounding stressors that threatens their very existence. And as a scientist, I understand how hard it can be to hold on to hope as we consistently watch declines and loss of biodiverse places. What can you do? What can anyone do to help prevent this loss? Now, these are hard questions, but I believe the one thing that anyone can do to protect coral reefs is simply to learn as much about them as you can. Because understanding how these ecosystems work and how so many different types of life interact and live together, you can understand the best ways on how to protect, conserve, and maintain these vital ecosystems. Now, if that's something that interests you and you would like to learn more, welcome. My name is Colin, and I'm a scientist who gets excited talking about coral reefs. Over the years of research and study throughout the Caribbean, I am determined not only to learn as much as I can, but to share what I've learned the best way I can. Now, I'm totally biased in this opinion, but I think that the Caribbean Atlantic region is one of the best places to start learning about coral reef ecosystems and the organisms that call them home. And this is because no matter where you drop into the water, let's say you roll off the boat in Bonaire, or the Bahamas, the US Virgin Islands, the Florida Keys, no matter where you go, you're going to be able to see some of the similar species. The first coral that many people see as soon as they roll off the back of the boat are soft corals or gorgonians. These soft corals include things like sea fans, sea rods, and sea plumes, and they can dominate reefscapes across the region. Their flexible structure allows for them to flow and ebb into the water column. And if you look really closely, you can see a lot of small fish and invertebrates that like to live inside these beautiful plumes. Check out this beautiful and famous flamingo tongue, which is a small mollusk similar to snails. The next group of corals that you're likely to see are stony corals. Stony corals are unique to soft corals because they have a skeleton made of limestone or calcium carbonate. If you took a look across a reefscape and you looked at the waves and back and forth, you would notice the soft corals that are flexible in the water, where the stony corals don't move. Now, in terms of habitat, the stony corals are prime real estate for fish and invertebrates, and you can see tons of marine life that lives in and between these incredible branching corals. Some of the most famous stony corals out in the Caribbean reef are these staghorn and elkhorn corals. Huge branching structures can be formed, providing optimal habitat for a countless variety of marine life. And interestingly, these two species can reproduce together and form a coral hybrid naturally occurring in the Caribbean called Acropora prolifera, or fused staghorn coral. Another type of branching coral we have in the Caribbean are from the family Pariidae, and these are little finger corals that you can see colonizing shallow reef habitats. But then you can also see this is a version of one with their polyps out. It looks kind of fuzzy, doesn't it? Another major group of corals that we can find in the Caribbean are the bouldering or brain corals. Although they don't grow very quickly, these corals can get huge, growing over hundreds of years, forming massive bouldering colonies that tower across reefscapes. These corals can be comprised of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of tiny individual polyps. You can consider these massive corals similar to redwood trees in terrestrial systems. Slow-growing but long-lived species that form huge structures and habitat for a countless variety of marine life. Because of the ecosystem services that these corals provide, like protection, these corals are considered keystone species whose physical presence facilitates the biodiversity we see on these incredible ecosystems. Thus, it is imperative and so important that we look at ways to try to protect and conserve all the kinds of corals that we see on the reef, both soft corals and stony corals, if we want to try to maintain the biodiversity and functioning of these incredible ecosystems.